We're talking about meaningful education. So last time we talked a bunch about meaningful high school courses, and also took a bunch of questions, and there's several on Facebook that we'll get to that were on the post. And people can add questions once we figure out where we are. And
we may have to start over.
You're kidding. I mean, it says we're live. But it says on here on the software that we're live. It doesn't say on YouTube that we're live.
I just plugged into YouTube as not okay. Well, the link's working, so whatever. I don't know where we are, but it's definitely being okay.
Okay. So
I don't. If you have questions you want us to address, maybe put them in the Facebook group because we can't find the live stream.
It's very odd. Are you sure that you didn't do it from your account?
No, I didn't. No, nope. It's definitely
okay. So you don't want to pause. You want me to continue going?
I mean, this is the easiest day I've had.
I know you had a crazy, like, unexpected doctor's appointment, and you guys Jill walked in 2 minutes before we were supposed to go on, and she's like, "I'm here. I made it." I'm like, "Okay."
And I had to tell him why I threw my back out. He's like, "Well, why'd you throw your back out?" And I'm like, "Well,
share. If we may not even be live."
You know, I did it like yoga.
Oh, I did the whole
handstand pose for like ever, and I did a bunch of them because I tried to get a really good shot of the building, and it was for Instagram. That's really. The 20th time I'm doing it.
This was an Instagram injury. Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm really embarrassed by that. That's really sad. Don't ever tell anyone that. Okay.
But you just put it online, probably.
Oh my gosh. So I was going to say, it's the end of the school year, and oh my gosh, our big class is ended. I still have 2 book clubs, but that's one reason I'm so joyful today. So it's nice to get through the school year. Okay. I don't know, Farrah. It says we're live. If I go to an incognito window and I put the link, it does show it. And
I see it. Okay, well, people can click in. Okay, well, so we are talking about, last time we talked about making meaningful education with high school courses. Yeah. And this time, I think we mostly wanted to talk about choosing a meaningful college experience. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But we have tons of questions this time. And last time, we didn't have that many. So,
okay, so
this was kind of, choosing a meaningful college experience. Let's start with our own thoughts, and then we'll just go through all these questions. So what's your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I mean, I feel like this has been on my mind. I mean, someone posted in our group about, and this is a growing trend, about the 3-year degree path, how more and more colleges are making 3-year bachelor degrees.
Right. I saw that this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that was a post about the Cal States adding that as an option for just a few degrees. But yeah. And then also, there was a recent article a couple of weeks ago in the Washington Post about some online degrees that some students do in as little as a month and a half. And it's a 4-year degree. It's a 4-year degree
as fast as you can. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I just think, I don't know. I have to say, as someone, I mean, this is the thing, is that I feel like in homeschooling, there's a couple different strands of or a bunch of different strands really of why families get into homeschooling. And, for a lot of families, it really is about crafting a meaningful educational experience.
Right.
And
right.
that's certainly for me, that was a big part of my motivations with my kids, is I wanted them to have meaningful experiences in their education so that they could think critically about the world around them and about their lives and about, their choices and have the option to do interesting things and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not everybody's motivation for homeschooling.
No.
And I definitely see a sort of growing push in some homeschool circles where people are like, oh, just, get a degree, any degree, it doesn't matter. It worries me though, because, you know, some of these online degrees, they're just a little bit worthless beyond the sort of check mark of what the
Right.
degree, you know, says.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the time they're in liberal arts, not really a major, you know, or they're, you know, sometimes like in business is a common
Right.
one.
Right.
But the amount of sort of coursework and learning that you have to do to get there, and particularly the amount of experiences that you have as part of it, and you know, are just so limited, like that you
Yeah.
don't have internships, you don't have co-op experiences, you don't have
Study abroad.
conversations with anyone, much less
Yeah.
professors who are experts in the field. You don't do research, you
Yeah.
don't, I mean, half the time these ones that are so fast, you don't even have to write, so you know, or create anything
No,
because you're
you're just
using
like watching the
AI.
videos and yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. And so the amount of actual critical thinking and brain development and learning you have to do that then
Yeah.
could be useful in a field that you might want to go into, much less the experiences that you have that might connect you with people that can help you launch in a field, are just close to zero.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, unless you're doing it to affirm a career that you already have, which most 16-year-olds don't yet, you know, then it's not it's not particularly worthwhile. Like, and then it closes off the ability to get an actual bachelor's degree.
That's the
Um,
thing that upsets me a little bit, is when you close
mhm.
off that door. But I agree with that 100%. I think you're making really great points. I want to say my son is graduating, as is yours. So we each have sons
Yeah,
graduating from UVA, I think in a week or a few days. I don't know.
yeah.
He's graduating soon.
My
I'm not
son's
going.
my son's graduating for Clark in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
And he sent me yesterday pictures of him with all his friends. Everyone's
Mhm.
leaving that's not graduate. Most of his friends are actually younger, and so they're not graduating with him, and they're all going home. And he said, I pulled up my phone, um, it's very bittersweet. And then he said, thank you for forcing me to apply here. I am so happy to have made these friends and had these experiences, because he didn't want to apply there, you know, and he wasn't sure. And I think that's part of it, isn't it? It's like, it's
Mhm.
not just the degree that you walk away with. It's it's this whole, like, when my son was done with high school, he wasn't done growing up yet. He had a lot more to do, quite a bit, but I didn't need to be around. He needed to do these things on his own and have these experiences that he was going to have. And, you know, I've talked about it many times. He did these wonderful study abroad opportunities. He made a lot of friends. He got a lot of support at school. You know, he started with one major and then fell in love with something completely different. And he's walking away with so many rich experiences and learning opportunities and connections with professors and people.
Mhm.
And he has friends all over the world because of the study abroad programs and everything. And and it's nice that he thanked me, but also, like, it's just so wonderful that I was able to provide that for him, and that young adults today can still go away to a university and have life-changing experiences.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes, I think a lot of parents right now are so worried about AI, which I understand 100%. The world is changing like crazy. Um, and also just worried about finances. And like in our group, we keep seeing these posts, oh, all the schools are, the colleges are closing. What are people going to do? You know, it's really changing. And it is 100%. It's going to change higher education. I mean, it's just changing. And what experiences you want and what your kids want. I mean, I think it's legit that everyone's feeling anxious, but just don't lose sight of the fact that going to university for 4 years can really change a young person in
Yeah.
ways beyond the degree, beyond the degree.
Yeah, and wait, and also I would add, because you know we're thinking about, like, you know, it is costly, like, you know, like
Yeah, it is
it's not,
costly. Yeah,
and I think it's in ways beyond the degree that also are important to being a successful adult in a lot of different
yeah,
ways. And there are other
yeah,
ways to get those experiences. I mean, I do have a son who didn't go to
definitely.
college, and
Yeah,
he has had different experiences, but is also, you know, launching into becoming a very successful young adult.
yeah,
And so it's not that this is the only path to get that, but it is one that can be extremely useful.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and
It's like
I see so
you're
much growth.
launching.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're launching, but in a very controlled. way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it helps, sometimes for a lot of students.
Hmm. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, even my son who, you okay there?
it's okay. I'll get
Jill's
it later.
disappeared.
I'm so,
What did you
here it is.
lose?
It's nothing. It's nothing. Keep going.
Even my son who is graduating, like my son who didn't go to college did leave home. Oh my gosh. I know it goes back and forth, but Jill is just dropping everything.
My God. What's wrong with me today? Now people are seeing the real me.
Uh-huh. And so that was useful, but like that's a hard thing to recreate for an 18-year-old who to just send them somewhere. Like it's just is very difficult to do. My son was lucky enough to have a pathway that it made sense for him to go away and a little bit of structure with that and everything. And even though it wasn't college, so college just does a lot for students in terms of their growth and maturity. And then that's in addition to all of the practical things, and they're learning and they're expanding their minds, and they're, they have to try new things and they have to navigate. I mean, I really appreciated that my son in college had to get an apartment after like his second year. Yeah. And he had to realize that he waited too long and had more limited options. And he had to, to manage having that kitchen and, like dealing with the landlord.
It's really important, and it helps these teens really transition through adulthood so much. I was reading somewhere, I don't know if it was an article or could have been a post on it, but it was about how this one parent was helping their kids so much, flying out to their college every month and then finding them an apartment and doing all the work, and just all the way through. The kid was a senior, and it's like people were like, but how is this? I mean, and this wasn't a student with disabilities or anything like that, because there are situations where you need more support, but it's like college is great because you can step back now. You can step back a little bit from that child of yours and let them because it's all in a sort of like controlled arena where they're doing these things, and there's lots of people there and lots of support there to help them. So it's a really good thing. I think with colleges too, I think one of the things we'll end up talking about is like finding a meaningful college experience for your kid. And a lot of parents think that is often a liberal arts college, and it definitely can be a smaller school, especially if you come from homeschooling. But there's some kids who really, really thrive in big public universities, and mine ended up being that way. They all graduated from a public university, even though two of them started at a small liberal arts school. So you can find meaningful experiences at lots of different universities depending on the student. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, and I think it's, it is like these experiences in class, like, I mean, I just, the things that my son who's graduating like has been able to learn and experience, and he is at a smaller rural arts school, but like he could have ended up somewhere else. I think he would have also had like meaningful experiences. They just would have been different. But like those are things where he has learned so much. I mean, he wrote the sweetest goodbye. He was an editor at the newspaper,
and he wrote.
It was very cute. He was like, when I first arrived, I didn't know what I was, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just like, oh my gosh, he's got, it's just the reflection and the legacy of all the students who've edited the paper before. And, like, I just thought it was very sweet. It was like, he was like, I've learned so much about, he was the web editor. He was like, I've learned so much about writing, about design, about editing, about, managing like a publication and journalism and, all these skills that, were not even part of his classwork. This is just in addition.
I mean, some of those addition things are what really stands out for students, so much. Like my son's finishing, he finished all his coursework and he had his huge research paper and everything. It took a lot of time, but he decided the last minute to make a film, an hour-long film, and he got he got all the, and he's staying on campus because he has access to all the equipment and everything until they kick him out. So he's editing in there and everything. But it's just so nice. He has access to all this film equipment and has access to post-production studios and just so much great stuff. And then he also he called me 2 weeks ago. He's like, well, I'm recording my album today. I'm like, you're recording an album? He's like, yeah, someone wanted me to record an album. So I'm doing that today in the studios. I'm like, okay. And it's just you can find so many great opportunities at, a university or college. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just everything, all of the equipment, all of the things, all of the maker spaces and the library.
And the students, he cast everyone from just students at the university. And it was so good, it's really.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome. So these are the kind of experiences that when you're thinking about paying for university and what you're going to do and everything, it's more than just the degree sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Which is, again, not to say that people just need to spring for anything, especially
absolutely
or
not.
To push beyond the budgets that they're able to make.
No.
But I do think it's worth also advocating, because sometimes you hear about families who make, literally $500,000 a year. And they're like, we don't think we should have to pay more than a couple $1,000s a year for college.
Or they don't want their kids to take out any loans at all.
Yeah. And no loans and it's like, well, you're not setting your kid up for success in that case. Because if you do have some income that you can spend on college, you can get a deal and it can still be, so it doesn't have to be a fancy education in order to get access to these experiences.
I would also say too that the top 30 universities in the country are not the only universities that give these type of experiences. And to really, because sometimes we hear from families or we see it in groups or something like, well, I'll pay for this university, but I don't want to pay for any others. And it's like, well, there's lots of universities out there, and a lot of them are really unique and good and have great experiences, even though they're not the tippy toppies,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and this is true too, even for now, again, this is part of evaluating your student's college list, is that you want to look at, because some schools, have a strong campus culture and your student is more likely to find these types of experiences there. Some schools have better access to sort of resources into everything for all students, as opposed to just if you're in this program, then you can access these spaces, but other students can't. In some universities, your son wouldn't be able to access the music studios and stuff in the music program. So you do want to be asking those types of questions. And then, also some schools are much more commuter schools, or just don't have those resources. You want to think about that. But some commuter schools have amazing resources and launch students in all kinds of ways. I think about, this a couple of years ago now, visited New Jersey Institute of Technology, which is it's one of these schools that's not highly ranked on a lot of the older traditional things, but is highly ranked on a lot of the newer metrics that are especially looking at upward mobility and launching into careers and stuff. And they had great resources and great, and it is more of a commuter school. There's not that much,
I enjoyed it though. Yeah.
And there were clearly students on campus, hanging out, and there was clearly some culture on campus too.
And they're great spaces and everything. I really like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And so again, it just depends. Whereas I've been to some schools that are much more residential, where the space is very broken up, and it feels like students aren't they don't have as many hangout spaces. So again, this is all part of figuring out the right fit and vibe and so forth.
Yeah. This is why, because some families can't visit universities before applying. Some families visit them all and they find out exactly. But when my kids applied, we couldn't visit that many. We just couldn't, due to resources and everything. This is why I really love, once you're accepted, it's okay to apply to some schools if you don't know too much about them, if you think on paper they look good, because there's all these admitted student days, which really help you figure these things out. And I really appreciate that. I think that's really good. I think more students should take advantage of those if they're down to a few schools to decide.
Absolutely. My son threw the school that he ended up on his list at the last minute. Essentially, not having visited. That we did it was sort of COVID-ish times, but we did an online something for it, and he was like, nah, And I was like, okay, like that's fine. And then I was like, I think I'm going to throw that one on. And then he went to an admitted students event. I mean, it wasn't
Right.
the admitted students day, but they had like a thing where you could go visit as an admitted
Right.
student and go to some
Yeah.
classes. And he was like, okay, that's it. Sign on the
Uh-huh.
dotted line.
And so this is the one for me. You never know which one,
Yeah.
you know, your teen's going to really fall in love with.
Exactly. So you don't have to necessarily visit. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
takeaway.
It's a really good. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to go through some of these questions?
Do it.
Okay. If anyone's watching, we have no idea.
I can't tell. It's just so bizarre. I mean, I see it like it's on there, but like you can't go to our page and see it. So I don't know why.
Hopefully it'll be somewhere so I can post it because I promised everyone. Okay. Do you have tips for cutting through just the stats when schools just start to blend into each other? At this point, most types of schools, big state school, small liberal arts college, seem pretty similar to others in their grouping. Any help for getting the feel of an individual school other than visiting in person, because they can't visit every single school? That's a good question, kind of what we were just talking about.
Yeah. So I find, I mean, a lot of this is going to be obvious, but you know, I do think looking at the statistics does help a little bit. Like when you think about what's important to you in terms of like classes and, you know, like clubs. And I mean, so those are metrics that you can see. Like you can see the diversity, you can see the gender balance at the school. You can look at the list of courses available in different departments. You can, you know, so these are all, you can look at the list of clubs. Sometimes it's harder to tell which are more active, but again, you can see those things. Virtual tours can be good, especially when they're video based, as opposed to these ones like on the platform that are like where you click and it, and those aren't as good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are good. There's a TV show called The College Tour, which is like a professionally produced TV show hosted by like a reality TV guy. Like, but it's well done. And they've got like a couple hundred, they've got like 150 episodes or something. And it's all different types of schools. And I think they don't tend to have the tippy top ones. They tend to have a lot more mid-tier schools, and also state flagships and so forth. But like, it's a really great array of schools. And if there's an episode of that about the school and you can't go visit it, I highly recommend that. And read reviews on like Niche and like other review sites where students are writing about their experience. I think those are actually kind of helpful. Like if the number one thing that, you know, 150 students reviews say on Niche is like Greek life is the best here, like then you know Greek life is a big part of campus, you know, and so then you have a sense like of what the vibe is for that. Yeah. Okay.
I really like the FIS guide, I have to say, for just getting a nice little review of schools. And I think sometimes, honestly, every liberal arts college kind of feels like every other liberal arts college a little bit. And sometimes every big public university on a surface level feels like every other, public university. This is why you really do need to, I think some students dig in and like look at like TikTok a lot, these short little videos. I think a lot of them are on Reddit, which can be very toxic. I would caution your kid that if they're doing too many TikTok videos or reading too many Reddit threads, that's not always the best resource. And, someone might have a grudge or someone's trying to sell something and they do it really well. So, but reviews are really good. Fisk is really good. That TV show is really good. Any of these things, but looking for what each school offers and what your student wants. Some kids really want like internships. Some kids really want research. Some kids want excellent food and a really comfortable dorm room. You just got to dig a little deeper to find the differences in these things. Okay. I would like to hear any stories regarding academic integrity in college from a homeschooler's perspective. Was there pressure to cheat, and how did homeschool students handle that? This is a big reason for why we homeschool, and it's scary to think about dropping our kids on the deep end when they go to college. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, it is.
I wouldn't worry about that too much because there's going to be cheating everywhere. There always has. I mean, people cheated when we were in university.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. And that doesn't take away from your students' experience. If you know that they're not going to cheat, they're going to have a great experience, way better than the students who are sitting there cheating.
Yeah.
And what can you do? Especially today.
I mean, I have heard a number of homeschool stories about being accused of plagiarism or AI, especially in
Right.
dual enrollment
I've
environments.
heard that a lot. Yeah.
And first of all, I don't think that's happening just to homeschoolers. I think that
Right.
it's just pervasive. And I do think that it's starting to level out because professors have been just unsure how to approach
Handle it. Yeah.
and handle all of
It's
this. Like it
all
just,
so new. It's so new.
yeah. And so, and yeah. So, I mean, there's some little practical things around that, but I do think that's leveling out. I also think, yeah, I mean, my experience, both with my son and with like our clients and
Uh-huh.
students who have headed to colleges is that homeschoolers tend to be engaged. They tend to care about what they're learning about. They tend to be really smart consumers of classes because they have already been consumers of classes, unlike their peers who often just took what was handed to them and had very few
Right.
choices.
Yeah.
And so I think that all shines through to professors who want that. And they tend to make better connections than some of their peers. Now, not everybody,
No, not everyone, but it's definitely a thing. I mean, this is what we always tell everyone is that homeschoolers have a really good track record once they get to university. A lot of professors love homeschoolers. They're just a little bit more engaged. They're just a little bit more willing to talk to them, and just love on average, and they love to learn and everything. And so that's just going to come through, the one area where my son was having a little trouble is that he gets accommodations at university to have a computer in the classroom for disabilities. And the last year and a half, it was some professors didn't even want that. They didn't want that at all because they were so worried about cheating. And that was interesting. Like he had to prove that he really needed this accommodation. And it was a little, but everyone's just figuring things out. Everything is just changing so much. It's just, some of this you can't control, so you just really don't need to worry about it in some ways, I think, because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely, this is part of sussing out the vibe at a school. Like there are definitely schools where students are more interested in academics versus schools where students are more interested in the sort of social life of the school. And if being in an environment where the academics are key for your student, then those are the schools that are going to appeal to them. And so, yeah, I mean, cheating may be an issue, but it's not going to be.
We had a student who was deciding on schools last year. Remember that? And she decided not to go to one because so many people were talking about how many people were cheating there, and it just turned her off so much. And that's a very, I respect that. That's a really, and that was at admitted student days, so that was really good. Okay, is it possible to get into IVs or T20s with homeschooling, and how should students prepare for that? Oh, and if yes, how to prepare the kids for life at a competitive college after homeschooling for quite some time. This is interesting. First of all, yes, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've worked with students too.
Yeah. And homeschoolers are strong applicants. I think some parents who are new to this worry about this, but homeschoolers have a great track record and are very strong applicants across the board. You can have APs, which always help, do enrollment, and then unique, meaningful courses and unique, meaningful activities help these students stand out, and absolutely they can get into these schools. How to prepare for life at a competitive college after homeschooling? Sometimes these competitive colleges sometimes college isn't as hard as high school for so many students, because high school in America is just such a pressure cooker, and everyone's competing and everyone's trying to get somewhere. And you have to have all these great activities and all this great coursework, and let's go volunteer and let's have great letters of recommendation and really get to know you. And the students feel like they're on constantly for 4 years, just like on, just to try to get these reach schools. And then they get there and they're just like, oh, whew. Everything's competitive. Some things are very competitive. You don't, it's very hard sometimes to be against other students who are at the same caliber, but sometimes it's not as hard as being in high school, I have to say. I've heard this from students over and over and over.
Including at tippy top schools. Yeah. I would say the students who get into that level of school, whether they are homeschoolers or schooled students, in our experience, just are naturally working at that level of whether it feels competitive to them, whether they actually are sort of like constantly like trying to get ahead of others versus like it's just they crave that level of intensity.
Yeah.
They're comfortable with intensity. And if they don't have that level of comfort with that much intensity, they don't tend to get into those schools. Like, and
Yeah.
that's part of matching the fit of the student to the school, which I think is just a natural thing, so
Yeah.
even as a homeschooler, even if they're just sort of picking like because they love multivariable calculus, they love starting their own organizations, they love playing this sport or doing this unique crazy thing, like whatever it is, they're doing those things because they want to, and then they get into these schools, because they love entering a million contests, or whatever it is, like, and so they keep winning, like, and that's how they end up at like these tippy top caliber schools. They've hit that level of intensity. Someone had a follow-up about the AI.
Oh, where is that?
It's on YouTube. I was going to say about like, it's about using like these specific words that are like now associated with AI or like the in-dash thing. I just think you can't, every single, like literally every couple of months, there's a new AI thing that's supposed to flag your writing as AI. It's just write the way you write.
You just can't, and it's changing constantly, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got I agree with that. Let's see. No, I got it. I'm okay. Sometimes I ask myself, am I doing enough for my scholar, or am I limiting her options unintentionally? I have a classical ballet scholar and understanding all the how-tos for not just me, but for her. I hope, there's other stuff, but it's not a question. So that's interesting. You should answer that.
So my son who did not go to college is a classical ballet dancer. He's a member of a ballet company now, and it's very exciting. And he was renewed for next year. Whoop, whoop.
You didn't share that with me.
Oh, did I not share that with you? Yeah, he got renewed. So yeah, exactly. This is interesting because by the time that he was a senior in high school, he was really he had started a trainee program, and he was really too busy to do a traditional college, like high school experience. Right. And he did pretty much all ASU classes online, not just the universal learner ones, also some of the ones where you have some contact with a professor through ASU Prep Digital. We picked and chose. We weren't at Prep Digital as full time, and he did do. I made him do health at home, but
he was so busy. I mean, he was just so busy. He was a full-time job.
Yes, it really, like when you're dancing, just as part of his program, like 30 hours a week plus performances, especially like, he was at a company that really overutilized the trainees for professional shows. And so, and which is good for his level of experience, but not for his education. I insisted he finish high school with some level of like, he did apply to colleges and got into lots of them, not for ballet, but for sustainable planning and urban planning, which is another little niche interest. Yes, it is his other love, actually, like transportation design. He played a little bit too much City Skylines. And that was good. He did well, and got into some programs that had, some pretty competitive, not Ivy League level, but competitive acceptance rates for sure.
Right.
And, and so I guess I would just sort of say colleges understand that dance and also like music and some of these other,
music's a big,
that they are intensive activities. They understand that. And so they're taking that into account.
Yeah.
And so like my son didn't have any other activities really. He sort of put down a little thing that he did with his friends in ninth grade. We still were doing another little thing, but like everything else was ballet for this, summer intensive for that, and that worked out fine. Like, again, they understand that
They
context.
know, it's like if you're in robotics, that's like that just
Mhm.
takes so much of your time as a student.
Yeah.
And that might be your main activity all the way through high school, and there may be different parts of it, but that's just what you're spending your time on. They understand that 100%. Okay, well, here's one that, uh, okay. Could you speak to the differences and pros cons of a conservatory education versus college?
Oh.
I know a conservatory is more specialized with less general education requirements. Just wondering how much a student is limiting themselves by attending the conservatory. There's a lot of questions here, like, are we limiting? Am I limiting? Are they limiting themselves? They're not
Mhm.
limiting themselves if they really go to a conservatory. That's just a different path. It's like your
Mhm.
son wasn't limiting himself by doing ballet. That's what he wanted. That was his love. It looks very different. It's not the same as going to like get a liberal arts degree or, conservatory is different. Majoring in music is very different for lots of students. And my daughter was a music major, and it was amazing how much music students, I think, it's not always great because there's all these little classes that are worth like 1 credit and they have to do it. And then the 1 credit for all the performances and 1 credit. And by the time you're done, you're in like 7 classes, but it's the same units as someone in like 3 or 4. And you are so burned out a little bit. You're working constantly. It is a different experience. It's very different.
I
And
think.
also, you don't always, sometimes it can be with art or anything, like if you go to an art
Mhm.
school or something, they want to see you checking these boxes of your education in high school because you don't always get it once you're there. So they want to know that you've done 4 strong years of English. They want to see your math skills, and a lot of times some of these schools actually want a test score from homeschoolers and aren't always test optional because they just kind of want to check that box and then focus on the other thing.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, I think your point about like people are sort of like, oh, they're worried, like, are we closing doors? I guess I would say like it's okay to close doors. Like
Yeah,
if your
like
student,
100%.
this is part of like the choices that you have, and it's okay to do that. Like the door, like we've worked with students who thought they were going to be conservatory students. They go
Right.
all the way through, and at the last minute they're like, actually, let me like throw in these liberal arts schools, like, and then they end up there or something. Like, and so we've seen that a couple times, like it,
Yeah.
but we've also seen it the other way where a student thinks like, oh, I'm going to apply for like, oh no, I just want to do a BA, and then they like, but I'm going to throw together my portfolio for art, just in case.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Like there will still be options to go the other direction. They may not be the tippy top options, but like there's still going to be, there's going to be, you're not totally closing doors, but it's okay to make positive choices about your education and what you
Yeah.
want. And
Yeah.
so if what your student wants is a conservatory program, then it's okay to choose that. Like,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
mhm.
Um, how to help a lifelong homeschooler think through the trade-offs and importance of class size. My junior is pretty stuck on this, simultaneously drawn to the greater variety of course offerings in medium-sized schools and hesitant about their larger class sizes. I went to a liberal arts college myself, so I don't know how to help her think through it. This is interesting because as a homeschool parent, um, I thought small class size would be better for my homeschoolers. I really did. And I think a lot of homeschool parents think about that because they're not used to being in like a huge classroom at all,
Mhm.
and they'll get a little bit more attention. They'll be forced to, talk, and it'll just be a little bit easier for them. And this, based on my experience, it's so funny. I went to UC Santa Barbara, which is a big
Big.
school, and I loved it. I did. And then I told the kids, oh no, you should definitely go to like small, and so I just thought that sounded better for homeschoolers. And then my oldest, went to Hamilton for 2 years and transferred to Virginia Tech. And then my youngest went to Colorado College for 2 years and transferred to the University of Virginia. And my fear of how they would do in different sized classes really wasn't a fear of theirs, And I think you kind of get used to the class size, and you just kind of deal with it. And sometimes what's really more important, and what was more important for my two that transferred, was the offerings at the bigger universities. You know, they had certain degrees that they really wanted that weren't at the liberal arts college. They had certain, like my son taking advantage of all this equipment and the production studios and everything. That's not always available at smaller schools. So I think class size is definitely important. And I think some students really do thrive in a smaller class size. I also think some students who maybe are a little shy, you know, we'd call shy back in the day, or anxious or sometimes do better in larger classrooms, you know, which it can be surprising to people, but they just feel better being amongst a big group of people. But sometimes that's not really what you should be focused on so much, and maybe it's other things. But if a student's super worried about that, I would just, you know, tour some schools and really look. And again, admitted student days, sometimes you can sit in on classes and stuff, which will really help. Like
I would
drawn to more class. It said they were drawn to more the course offerings at a bigger school. That's sometimes more important than the class size.
I would look at what the experience is on the ground, especially in the path, the specific path that the student is looking at, because
Right.
at some big schools, they're going to potentially apply to honors college, which has, you know, every year you have at least one small seminar class, maybe. I mean, every honors college is different. So, you know,
Right.
look at that. But like, you know, is that a possibility? You know, is that going to be enough? Other schools, like once you get into your major class, like your gen ed requirements are going to be big, and your first level classes for your major are going to be big, but then you're going to be in classes that are mostly like less than 30 students, sometimes less than 10, like, you know, especially in certain majors, even at these big schools. So look and figure out, you know, what that looks like on the ground, and what that pathway is. Because I just don't think, you know, even within one big university, it can look really different from major to major.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you do want to kind of figure out what that looks like. And again, the honors college path can be a way to kind of get both. The honors colleges have gotten more competitive the last couple of years. I've seen that big time with our clients.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that when, you know, students who I was sure, you know, 4 or 5 years ago would have gotten into these honors colleges, sometimes are not getting in now. But it's still an option. And some students are getting in. And we definitely see that.
Obviously. I think one of the reasons for that is public universities are becoming very popular as of
Yes.
late, the last few years, and students want the honors experience, which within the big public university.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more competitive. Okay, someone had a comment. It's not really a question, but I think it's really important to read, so I'm going to do it real quick.
Okay.
Perhaps, okay. I'm glad you were all doing this, though. I don't know if I'll be able to pop in. Okay, I just had to read all this. I think the general idea of meaningful is a good one. Perhaps because we did do public school through 7th grade, and because we have another child who will be public all the way, I just feel so drawn to meaningful and not replacement as an approach to homeschool. We have this opportunity to do something different, so why not go for it? In our case, that seems to be a real pull away from AP and dual enrollment, and an embrace of the more unique classes that our kid wouldn't be able to do. Mostly I'm at peace with this decision, but sometimes I still get thrown by the overall almost panicky vibe I see in this group and others. I just wanted to read that really quick because I think we're seeing this a lot. Our group has grown so much, we really have no control over it at all anymore. There's a lot of panic in there, and everyone's like, what, you know, I need an honors course. Everything's got to be honors. I need APs. I need dual enrollment. We need the best of the best of the best. And I think, and of course, I think most people know that my perspective is quite different. I think a lot of these unique courses are great for homeschoolers, help them stand out in applications. I think a lot of students need some outside verification. So a couple APs or some dual enrollments, or just classes where you get really good letters of recommendation, these type of things, and the test score can always help homeschoolers. But I think a lot of this, why did you decide to homeschool? Why are you still homeschooling in high school? One thing I really caution parents is to make sure all our anxiety around this AI and everything is so high right now. Make sure your anxiety doesn't become their anxiety. They are already aware of what's going on in the world. They know jobs are disappearing. They know certain degrees don't even make sense anymore. But the more panicked you get, and the more you're like, well, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do, they're going to pick up on your anxiety and take that away with them. And instead, their teenage years, it should be joyful. Do some of these meaningful courses. Do some things that are outside the box. Admissions really enjoy seeing some different coursework. Your kids will thank you when they're older. You just don't put them in this pressure cooker that they don't need to be in. That's why I homeschooled. That's one of the main reasons.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it also, I think that again, it just really depends. Like, because I find myself with our clients, sometimes they're telling me like, oh, we want to, the kid is saying like, I want to get into such and such, or, so, and I have to say like, okay, well, this path here with this AP or this dual enrollment or whatever is more likely to get you there,
Yeah.
And so you do have to think about this. But like the flip side is if you're not doing these other meaningful things, then you're not exploring. First of all, you're not taking advantage of everything you can. You're not exploring your interests. You're not like, and it ironically, doing just the check the box things means that you are less likely to get in, especially as you get to higher levels. Because exactly. And so you are better off, going and doing. I mean, to me, the ideal is that there's some mix, because that is usually what's right for most students, like, and what that mix looks like can look really different from student to student. But
I think that's super important. Is just that if your student does everything that a public school student does, who's on this real high track, all the APs, all the way through, and they're still not standing out because they have so many applicants that look exactly like that student for these top schools. What helps them stand out is they're checking these boxes with the APs or dual enrollment and everything, have great activities, but then some unique stuff too. And it's like, oh yeah, they're like these students. Oh, but then they have some really interesting coursework, interesting activities. And that's what draws, these admission counselors to your student. And also, I just want to say that you cannot guarantee a student will get into any of these schools at all, period.
Not these
There's no path. No.
And that's why, for some families, it's like, well, maybe we would rather not do any of that dual enrollment in APs and know that we're closing some of those doors. Again, this is just like our conversation about the conservatories or whatever. Like, it's okay to close some doors if you're comfortable with that, knowing that, especially for a student who like, oh, they can get a high test score, or like, okay, we're just junior year, we're going to do, one AP, 2 dual enrollment, just like these teeny little bit. And you're sort of like, and that's it. That's all we're doing, so it's that. Yeah. Someone asked in the stream here about, do we write the course descriptions for these like specialized courses? Yeah, you get to write.
Absolutely. And put down all the resources used, the materials used. That's really
part of what can make it, especially because remember, they're just skimming, like some places don't want or read the course descriptions, but a lot of places do, I've found. And like when they do, they're not reading it in depth, but they're skimming through. They're like, oh, this one's a little different. What did they use? What was this all about?
It's so funny because at Moth, I make all the teachers write a course description and send it to the parents at the end. And my son, this is his first time teaching, and he sent me his course description. It was pretty long. And it didn't have the materials used or anything. And I'm like, no, listen, True, they can't read all this. Like, be a little more concise and then put all the materials used because they really want to see that, and it's a learning curve. But do course descriptions for those. Sometimes they'll see like AP World. Oh, well, they know what that is,
they know.
But then they see a unique course, and that's sometimes when they go to the course description and really dig in and see what it is. So I think it is important for those types of courses.
Agreed.
Okay, we have to go in a minute because we have
we do. We've got another meeting after this.
We have more meetings, but okay, well, it's similar. Yeah.
Okay. do we, were there other questions? Do we want to close out?
No, I don't see any others. If we miss any, we always go back in and answer.
We do. So we go back in.
And we will do this again in 2 weeks. Unless that's graduation. Well, we'll see. I'll post when we're going to do this again.
I'm not away on a Friday. For some reason, my kid graduates on a Monday. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm going to guess that the rental venue was cheaper. Not to call his university cheap, but
That could
This
be the
one
reason.
thing. I mean, they did not
Yeah.
skimp on other things. He had a meaningful experience, but
Great
maybe
education. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
did. He really did. I'm so
I
proud
can't
of him
believe,
right now.
you know what? I just have to take 1 minute and say, oh my gosh, we're all done with
I
our kids.
know.
All
I
both of us.
know.
Congratulations
High
to
five.
us. I am so happy that my youngest is graduating.
I've still got one
And
more who didn't go. He's gonna maybe go eventually, but I'm
yeah,
not in
but
charge of that. He's
you're
an
not in
adult.
charge. He's completely yeah. We're done. We're done here. That's another thing. What you haven't start thinking about your meaningful experiences once your kids go. Because it's really fun, I have to say.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of our clients head off to their meaningful experiences.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah. And remember, if something doesn't work out, I mean, it's not great to transfer, but all 3 of my kids did. So always transferring.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to leave it on. Okay.
Okay. That's a good note.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be back.
Bye. Thank you.
And are you hitting stop? Who's hitting stop?
I hit stop streaming.
Hey, there we go.